When we're multiplying a constant or a number by an expression, you're going to see brackets to represent the fact that we have to multiply. So you're going to see brackets instead of a multiply symbol because we don't want the x to get confused with the multiply. So what this means is that you are going to have to use something called the distributive property. So you're going to have to multiply the 3 in the first example through the x and through the -1. We can do this with a picture. So step 1, what we're going to do is we are going to draw the picture of what's inside the bracket. So we have x minus 1. So we have one long red x tile, positive x tile, and one small blue -1 tile. Step 2 is we are going to circle the number in front that we need to multiply by. That's how many total copies we need of our expression. So we now have to copy our expression, x minus 1, so the picture of x minus 1, and we have to have 3 copies total. So the number that we're multiplying by is how many x minus 1s that we have. And now we can just write out the final answer. So we've got 3x minus 3 in our final picture. The other way we can use the distributive law without a picture is to use something called the rainbow rule. So we're going to put a 1 in front of our x because we know there's one of them. And we're going to multiply 3 times 1, which is 3, and there's an x there as well. Now we are going to go in for our second part of our rainbow. So we're going to do 3 times -1. 3 times -1 is -3. We get the same answer either way. So either way works. Okay, in the second example, we need to multiply 6 by -2x squared plus 2x plus 1. So step 1, we take the expression inside the bracket and we draw a picture of it here. Okay, so we have 2 -x squared, so those are 2 big blue squares. We have plus 2x, so 2 red rectangles, and plus +1, so 1 red small square. And what we need to do is this time we have to make 6 copies. So step 2, we're going to highlight the 6 in front, and that's how many total copies we're going to need. So step 3 is to make those copies. So we're going to copy this one and paste. And we have to do that 6 times, or 5 times to make 6 total copies, sorry. I'm gonna have to shrink these down a little bit too so that they all fit. So we have to make 5 photocopies if you want to think of it that way. So we have 6 total, including the originals. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 1 more. So we'll just paste that over there, I guess. Okay, so now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you look at all of these put together, we have 6 of that initial expression. And now we can write down our answer. How many total x -x squareds do we have? Well, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So -12x squared. We have 12 positive x's plus 12x. And we have plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our final answer is -12x squared plus 12x plus 6. If you don't want to use your tiles, you can also use the rainbow rule. This time we're going to have to do 3 multiplications. I'll use different colors for each branch of my rainbow. So I start with doing 6 times -2x squared. That gives me -12x squared because 6 times -2 is -12 and there's an x squared there. Then I'm going to do 6 times 2 is 12 and there's an x glued onto that term, so that's included there as well. And then finally 6 times +1 is plus 6. don't forget that you still need to always have addition or subtraction between each term. Okay, and our last example involves a negative. So we're going to have to add a couple extra steps in here to deal with the negative. So we are going to start by drawing 3x minus 1. So we have 3 x's and a little -1 blue tile. And out in front, if we highlight the 2 out in front, we know we need 2 copies of that. We'll deal with the negative in a moment. So we're going to just copy it once and paste it. Oops. Okay, so now we have 2 copies of 3x minus 1. But now I have to worry about the negative. I wanted -2, not +2. So I'm going to have to draw a new picture. So I'm going to take all of my tiles here. And remember that subtracting involved adding the opposite. Well, it's the same as multiplying by a -1. You have to change all of the colors. If you change a red to a blue, that's the same as multiplying it by -1. So if I take all of these tiles that I have and I change their color, so I'm going to make all the x's blue, and then I'm going to go back in and make the ones red. I'm just changing the colors there. Okay, so that's what my new picture would look like. So now I've actually multiplied by -2. So there is an extra step of adding that color change in there. So you do have to draw it again with the different colors. And after you've done the color change, we should have our final answer. So we're going to end up with -6x plus 2. So you'll notice that the signs around the 3x and the -1, those changed. So it was +3x, now it's -6x. It was -1, now it's +2. Okay, so with the rainbow rule, what that would look like, we're going to have 2 multiplications to do this time. So we should get the same answer as with the picture. So I've got 2 branches to my rainbow. -2 times 3 is -6. And we've got an x there, so make sure you're multiplying a negative by a positive so you get a negative result. And -2 times -1 gives us +2 because it's a negative times a negative. So we get the same result either way.